turn in any of your modules, you need to see your way into the intermediate class. I am no longer accepting any excuses. You miss a module, next Thursday, you just go to the next class. Because you got to work to be in this class, and we're not accepting any type of mediocrity, okay? Okay, so in our previous lesson, we talked about the question, are you the thinker of your thoughts, or are you repeating other people's thoughts? And each one of you had to give me your perspective, and we are missing 4 students who weren't able to do that because I got hungry and we ran out of time. So in this class, we're going to start out with those 4 students, and then we're going to go into what the second part of what we need to discuss today, which is the art versus life. How is art a reflection of life, or life a reflection of art? Yeah, think about that. Okay, so we have Aranza, Sarah, Genesis, and Natalie. Who's gonna start? Which of the 4 of you is gonna start? Are you the thinker of your thoughts, or are you repeating other people's thoughts, specifically as it concerns health, finances, relationships? And relationships doesn't mean getting married, people. It means in general, your friends, your relationship with teachers, your relationship with God, relationship with your neighbors and family members, legacy and self-care. Okay, so let's do it like this. Let's go with Aranza, then Sarah, then Genesis, then Natalie. Okay, let's go.
Well, I think that in most of my thoughts, I'm like my own thinker. But also as a teenager, I have influence from social media, from what is, ¿qué está de moda? How could I say that?
What's in style? In style.
What's in style? And, but in general, like about relationships, about finances, I feel like I think in, not in totally, but in partially different from the majority.
Majority.
Yes.
Okay. Good. So next we have Sarah. Are you the thinker of your thoughts, or are you repeating other people's thoughts?
Well, actually, I think I am the thinker of my own thoughts. I see myself as someone that can be sometimes be like guided by others people thoughts, but I always think twice. Is this what I really want, or is this what they want me to do? So I think that's something that had helped me a lot to be the thinker of my own thoughts in almost every aspect of my life.
Okay. And Genesis. Where is she? She was here just a minute ago.
Oh, she said that the Wi-Fi isn't working.
Oh my goodness. Cable onda. Natalie? Is Natalie here? Yes.
Well, most of the time I have my own thoughts, but sometimes I hear other people's opinions or thoughts, depending on the aspect. Like in money, sometimes I try to hear other people's opinion, and if I see it good for me, then I take it.
Okay. And Genesis?
I think that in some points of my life, I have my own thoughts, and sometimes people can influence in my thoughts. But I think that, for example, the things that I like, how I want to dress, etc., I have my own thoughts. But I also, for example, I like to ask a lot to my parents if there is some decision or thing that I think is it bad or good, and if I'm not sure, I ask their opinion, and then I can like see if it is good for me or bad for me.
Okay, good. And so people, that brings us to today's discussion. if you are paying attention to the book and if you're actually reading the book, you're going to notice that the whole issue of art is very important in this book because, of course, it starts off with a painter painting a picture of Dorian Gray. And Dorian Gray being so beautiful that the painter himself was impressed by his work. So in the, sorry, in the module 3, the assignment that you've been asked to work on is to give me your perspective about appearances versus reality. But the other important topic that comes up in this book is art versus life. And that's what we're going to be discussing today, art versus life. I want you to tell me if you think that art is a reflection of life or life is a reflection of art. And if you think that is so, what does the art of a country or a specific region tell you about the life of the people that live in that region? For instance, if we think about handicrafts are artesanías. What are some very common handicrafts that are created here in Panama?
Molas.
Okay, so let's talk particularly about the famous molas. I don't know if you, now that you mentioned molas, I don't know how many of you know about the huge legal battle that the molas had with Nike. Was it Nike? I think it was Nike a few years ago, last year or sometime. Yes? And to think that this little group of, because there are not a lot of them, they were able to stand up against a giant like Nike defending their rights. Okay, so are the molas a commentary on life? Are they a reflection of life from the perspective of the indigenous people? What do you think? You do know what happened with Nike and the molas, right?
Can you repeat the question, please?
Okay, so let me give you a little bit of back information. A few years ago, Nike designed a sneaker allegedly to honor Hispanics, and they designed it with a design of mola, and they attributed it to Puerto Rico. So when the indigenous people here, the Gunas, saw this and saw that Nike was about to sell this product, allegedly in honor of Hispanics in Puerto Rico, they contracted a lawyer and they actually started a lawsuit against Nike. The question is, do you think that their art, the molas, reflect their lifestyle? And do you think that was the reason why they did not see Nike as a giant that could not be, oh no, let's just let them do whatever they want, but instead they stood up to Nike? What's your thought? Is the mola a reflection or a commentary on the life of the Gunas? Because we're trying to discuss art versus life. So the question is art a commentary on life? It's art tell us about life, and the example of the handicraft mentioned was molas. So think and answer. Do they see their art as something that's more than just some scribble, as a part of their life? What do you think?
It's part of their history. I mean, it's part of their culture. It's something that we here in Panama, we can relate the molas to them, That's something we can relate. That's something we know that if we saw a design of molas, we know is from them. So I think that they see their art as something that goes beyond than than a marca or something like that. So I think they did well to stood up and say, no, this is not from them, this is ours, this is our culture, this is our history, and well, it's their rights.
Okay, so is art a commentary or a reflection of life? Can we find out about a person's culture or their perspective of life based on their art?
Yes.
Tell me more.
I think that most of
the art is a reflection of your life, because you represent what you think or what you're doing or something like that on your art, on what you're doing. It's your expression, or it's like your point of view.
Mm-hmm.
So I do think that art is a reflection of life.
Okay. Now, those of you who paint, and I know Isabella, you draw, those of you who paint or draw or do some type of handicraft, what gives you the inspiration to do that? I know some of you in here, you paint, you color, you draw, you do stuff, even dance. Some of you even dance. What gives you the inspiration to do that? What out of life gives you the inspiration to do that?
I do it. My inspiration. Sorry. Most of the time is how I'm feeling or things that I like. The moment I like to draw in the moment, what I'm thinking, what I'm feeling, what I'm seeing.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. What about the rest of you? The rest of you who dance or sing or draw or paint or do
Me,
handicraft.
when I draw, I like I
Okay.
express my feelings and my moods, and it's like a way to express myself without words.
Okay. Perfect. We have some dancers and some singers in here. Talk to me. All of that is art, you know. Even cooking is art. So those of you who sing and dance or sing or dance, Layali, talk to me. You come from a very artistic family. What?
I think like Mary, because I express myself when I dance. It's a way that it's something nice to me to dance. And also I draw things. Draw I
You're doing well. Uh-huh. You want
so when that's all I think.
so you're telling me that when you're dancing, you're trying to express yourself through your body movements, yes?
Yes.
Okay. Aranza, talk to me. I heard you sing. I was told.
Well, I think that not only singing, but different kinds of art. For example, I don't like dance so well, but when I dance, because I hear music, uh, it me permite,
Allows
me, singing and dancing allows me to discharge all what I feel. If I'm feeling uh, I forgot the word. If I'm feeling preocupada, worried, if I'm feeling church with a lot of stuff in my life, I just do this and it allows me to discharge all those bad vibes from me.
So then, are we able to agree that there is a deep connection between art and life? Who disagrees? Who says no connection? Adrian, talk to me, in the boy in the darkness.
It's actually the shadow from my hair in my face.
Ah.
Because I have so much hair now. So what's the question? Like, like
Is there a connection between art and life? Are they in connection? Are they opposed to each other? Is art a reflection of life, or are they completely different things? What's your perspective?
I think it's like an extension of ourselves. Like the way we act, we express it through the methods we use. For example, like I like writing a lot, like just writing overall, and I tend to like put myself or express myself through the way I'm writing, expressing my true self to a certain degree, right? So when I see like people making music or people like singing or all that stuff, it's like an extension of themselves. Some people like put up a persona when they like perform, but that's because that persona in itself it's an extension of themselves, a way that they want to be idolized. If that makes any sense.
Okay, yeah, it makes sense. So is it then possible for a person to be like this completely different person when they're not expressing themselves through art? Like I am a police officer and I'm very strict and I really believe in following rules, but my art reflects a little bit of deviance, a little bit of violence, some aggressiveness. What is aggressivity? Some aggressiveness. Is that possible for a person to be one way and express themselves artistically in a completely like opposed manner?
To a certain level, because there's people like, the artists like are like they kill themselves, right? Like they reach a certain age and they kill themselves, but their art like represented their music or their arts represented like a way of themselves, like, oh yes, I'm fine and I'm having fun and I enjoy myself, and then they kill themselves. Like, why they did that if they didn't show that when they were making their art?
Okay. So can you find out, and this question goes for, let's just pick on anybody, Abraham Sanchez, Daniel, can you find out about a person just by observing their art, whether it's dance, singing, cooking, handicrafts, painting, drawing, whatever? Does the person's art give you a clear idea of who the person is?
I think that no,
Okay, why not?
because I think that no, because I think that specifically no, because I think that if it's a person that draw like paisajes and things like that,
Landscapes.
I think that I can see that that person like that type of like tranquilidad.
Calm.
If I see like a draw with a lot of color, I can think that it's a person with person.
Are you watching TV?
No, but if I see a draw like like I don't know how I can explain that, because I think that no, but I don't know how to explain it.
Okay, so who wants to help him explain that? Let's see. Whose voice have I not heard? Eduardo Soto. There's always a lot of noise in Eduardo Soto's background. So let's see. Eduardo Soto, is it possible for, wait, let me ask you a question. Wait. Is it possible for a person to be one type of person but express themselves in a completely different way through their art? Or does analyzing the person's art give me a clear idea of who the person really is?
I feel that with any type of art that make us feel like, I don't know, some a heart pounding feeling, and I don't know, several emotions.
Oh my goodness, we can't hear you. He's moving his mouth, but no sound. Let's just pretend we heard him.
Just like that.
Okay. Eduardo, we did not hear a word you said, but it looked really cute. Okay. So my next question is, let's bring it down to the book. Let's bring it down to the picture of Dorian Gray. What does Basil, was the guy's name Basil? I think so. What does his drawing say? Is his drawing of Dorian Gray, what does it say about him as an individual?
I mean, at the beginning of the book, when Basil was saying that he didn't want to exhibit the painting because it puts out a lot of himself. It's what we're talking about. By seeing a painting, we can go beyond our words, and we can maybe seeing the deeper soul of that person. And I think that expressing the outer seeing of Dorian Gray and trying to like express the beautiful through him. I mean, he wanted to express the, how do you say that? When a person is like, how is like kids? You know, kids are, I don't know how to say that.
Obsessed, passionate, what are you trying to say?
Son.
Intensos.
Oh, son. Oh my God, I forgot the word. Yes. They are not that
innocent.
Yeah, they're innocent. That's what he wanted to express by the painting of Dorian Gray, because he wasn't like aware of, oh my God, I'm beautiful and I deserve the world. He wasn't like that. He was more than a normal person. He didn't put a lot of importance in that aspect. And I think that is what he wanted to express in the painting. And that's it. I think that's what Basil was trying to express.
So by this Basil painter person, focusing so much on Dorian Gray external beauty, do you think that woke up something inside Dorian Gray, a little bit of arrogance, a little bit of vanity? Do you think it's because of what Basil portrayed in this painting? Anybody? Did Basil start this mess with Dorian Gray? Nassim, you look like you have an answer. Did Basil start the whole foolishness with Dorian Gray, thinking that he's some type of a Adonis?
Well, every artist have to make a depiction of how he or her sees the particular thing they try to portray. In the matter of, he does not just paint the image of this guy, he paints how he sees. And for all that I know, for his circle, for the way that they interact with the concept of beauty, especially in the case of Dorian, he portrayed the way that was understandable, the way that people saw Dorian. And this is, I think that may have caused this particular reaction in Dorian, because now he knows exactly what is the thing that people get when they see him. Yeah. And this aspect of pureness that they get, it was the thing that excels that particular physical aspect of him. But that's the point then in which he completely noticed how everyone saw his.
So when, what you're trying to say is that when Dorian saw how the others saw him, it changed something inside him?
Well, I think that's the case, because until then he didn't really care about this aspect of him. I think he may saw the behavior of people with him as something normal, something he should not pay so much attention.
Okay.
But with this, it was clear that people saw him with an almost godlike aura in the aspect of his beauty, which may have bring up enough arrogance for him to behave the way that he ended up behaving, and also break up the way that the pureness in his own perception of himself that he had until that point.
Okay. That's a good analysis. So the rest of you, any of you, my next question is this. Is it possible that if Basil had never painted Dorian Gray, the outcome of his life would have been different? Like he would not have fallen in love with Sybil, and he would not have been mean to Sybil. She would not have killed herself. He would not have become this arrogant person who did not even care that she had killed herself. Is it possible that none of this would have happened if Basil had not painted him in such a manner that was almost wanting to be worshipped? Anybody? Amir, your camera seems to be stuck. Oh, there you are.
Well,
Oh.
I don't really know, but if that's the case, or is that the cause of all these consequences that happen in the history, I think that is like a full cause, a pain, because why that doesn't make sense. I don't know. That's my opinion.
Okay. Moises, tell me, what do you think?
I believe I believe that what Dorian saw in the painting was much more than what he perceived himself as.
Mm-hmm.
So if he looked at himself in the mirror, he didn't see what other people saw in him, because the art that Sybil made had that capacity to like portray all of the angelicness of his beauty, you know, and it exaggerated those features, because art exaggerates the beautiful features that things have. And when he saw himself like that, he really took it into himself to believe that he was this second coming of Christ with his beauty.
So then there is a possibility that Dorian Gray was not all that beautiful, just that Sybil saw him as beautiful. Not Sybil, well, yeah, she too. But Basil saw him as beautiful and portrayed him as such, and then he started believing it. Is that a possibility?
And that lifted his own ego, and he became this egotistical monster, and he didn't even care when the girl killed herself.
Okay. Great analysis, Moises. So then people, so my next question is, what was it that made, that you think, in your opinion, from your 2020 perspective, what was it that made Basil worship Dorian so much to the point of making this painting of an almost angelic, Adonis, godlike, Jesus is coming person? What do you think was happening to Basil? Why did he worship Dorian so much? Any answer is correct. Hello? Hello? Can you hear me?
Maybe he thought that because of his beauty, people would start following him, and maybe he took advantage of that and made the painting so angelical, maybe.
Or maybe jealousy.
Jealousy of what?
I don't know. Jealousy of something like, oh, he's beautiful. Like I need to get a credit from that.
Oh, so what you're saying, Eduardo, is that possibly Basil had an ulterior motive for painting Dorian, that he was trying to get some type of benefit out of it?
Probably.
Okay. So when Dorian decided to hide the painting, and I hope you understand why he decided to hide the painting, because that's the question you need to answer in your module. When Dorian decided to hide the painting, Basil's reaction at first was, of course, why? Why are you going to do this? Why are you doing it? But eventually he understood it and he accepted it. Do you think that Basil felt a little disappointed when Dorian decided to hide the painting, but he didn't have the guts to just come out and say, hey, that's my best painting, you can't hide it, I need it to be able to get more, well, you call them followers, but back in those days they weren't followers. I needed to be able to get more clients or to get more reputation. Is that a possibility? Diane Otero, you've been silent. The question is, how do you think Basil felt when Dorian decided to hide this painting that had been so, like, his best work?
Maybe he felt bad because when you put a lot of effort on something and the other person just like appreciate it, but then he just rejects of appreciating the work, it's like that hurts. So I think maybe he felt bad for that.
So most of you believe that Basil definitely had like an ulterior motive for painting that because he was trying to get some recognition for himself. Okay, so the reason why, if after seeing the painting and recognizing how angelic and wonderful he was, that was what probably made Dorian not want or start questioning his aging. He didn't want to age. He didn't want to, or anything like that. So then when he was able to transfer all the ugliness that was happening in his heart onto the painting, he saw it like as the perfect escape. Why then did he not just destroy the painting? Why hide it? Why keep it locked up? Why not simply get rid of it or give it back to somebody? Why? Mandisa, you're quiet. Why?
Maybe because he really values his work and his time, or he's just obsessed with the creation that he did. Sometimes I'm like that too, and I always thinking like maybe one day somebody stupid will damage my work, and I always ask myself what would I will do, or somebody will want to buy my art and I don't want, and they will still insist of giving them to them, but I don't want to. So I think, yeah, it's something that our work made up from our hands. It's very valuable to us, but it depends on the personality. Because in my case, I really will cry if somebody will damage my work and scream to them, make a scene, because I love my work and I value my time. My time is precious. And when people are telling me like, you need to do this fast, and I do this fast for them, and in the end, they don't like the drawing. And I'm like, you just wasted my time in this. And then when we keep going through life, like, giving people opportunities, like, okay, I will give you this, what you ask, you would pay me. And then from time to time, you will value more your art. You will value more your time. And that's why I think some artists are so, they became obsessed, or they really trust in their work, that they want perfection. And the things that we make with the perfection is the thing that we want them to stay with us, not to give to other people when you have met some sort of kind of people that don't like your drawing, or they tell you that you did something that was so dumb in the drawing, or they criticize your work. But that's part of being an artist. But in some point, you have to say no to people.
Yeah.
And that's why I think he maybe in that point he said no, or he didn't want to get rid of the amazing work that he did.
Yeah, so one of the important things that we discovered in these first 10 chapters is that as Dorian becomes more degenerate, as he becomes more immoral, instead of it being reflected in his physical body, it's being reflected in the painting. And that's the turning point of the whole picture. So my question is this. First of all, is it true that our bad deeds or our bad thoughts or the bad things we do or think reflect in our physical aspect? That's my first question. And my second question is, okay, no, let's answer that first one. Is it true that when we have bad thoughts, bad ideas, we do bad things, it reflects on us? Because that's the whole gist of the story, that Dorian became a degenerate, immoral person, and he continued to have his angelic, innocent face, but the painting was defaced. So, what do you think? Does that happen in real life? If you walk into a prison, into a jail, what's the name of the cárcel renacer? Would you be able to see something on these prisoners' faces that would let you know that they are actually criminals, or would they just look like normal people on the street? That's my question.
I mean, there's a point where this evil will be noticed on your physical present. I don't know. There's a point when people will notice, but there's also people that can be, when you see them, it will be like, oh, he's so honest or so handsome, but it isn't like that.
So you're saying that for some people it would show on their faces, and for other people it wouldn't?
But the circumstances in jail, I mean, you're always 24/7 laptop, and you are always reminded that you did something wrong. Of course, my face will be okay. I hate it here, but change it to other circumstances. Like I killed somebody, right? And no one can know I killed somebody. So I will pretend I would smile, depending on circumstances.
So is that what politicians do?
I don't know.
Okay, so my second question is there a possibility that after Dorian discovered that the picture was going to carry all the consequences of his bad deeds, is there a possibility that he decided, like, okay, now I'm going to be very degenerate, I'm going to be extremely immoral, I'm just going to kill and steal and do all kind of bad things because nobody's ever going to see it on my face? Do you think that's what happened to Dorian? And then, who's answering?
In that he felt that satisfaction at seeing at his pain and knowing that, oh, people don't know I'm like that. I'm like how you see me. And I think he felt like something of satisfaction at looking at his painting.
Okay, so then my last question to you is this. Did that painting make him a bad person, or was he a bad person before the painting existed?
I think he was already a bad person before the painting existed. But when the painting existed, like, oh, I have the painting here, the painting started to reflect the things he was doing, the way he was acting. And so he started like, I think that's why he hid it. I don't know, but I think he was already mean and bad before the painting.
Okay, anybody else has a different perspective? Was Dorian Gray a bad person before the painting, or did the whole telenovela with the painting make him a bad person?
I think maybe he was like what happened with Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde, that he just like did something bad, and he liked it. So he continues and continues and continues until he became a really bad person, and all of what he have good inside him just disappear.
That's a great perspective. Anybody else? One more person. Was Dorian Gray always bad, or did the painting issue make him a bad person? One more person.
I don't know. I mean, I don't understand his true personality, but I may say that after he finished the paint, he became more of what he was after the painting. You know what I mean? Like
after the painting was finished, because he didn't paint it. After the painting was finished, you think that he became more of what he already was.
Uh-huh.
So that goes with the saying, there's a common saying that says, el dinero no corrompe, sino que desenmascara. That's what you're saying, that people are bad, but then they just see this opportunity, like, whoa, let me do this. And it's not like that situation made him a bad person, right? Is that
yes.
Good. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, so that's it for today. Rebecca, please stay back. The rest of you, bye-bye. See you next time. Bye.